Well, in 2013, when I took on the directorship or the direction of the Miami Beach Urban Studios, I kind of realized it was an opportunity to unify and bring things together that maybe hadn't been done before. And of course, my background at Brown was also about, a lot of interdisciplinarity, and architecture itself is a very interdisciplinary practice where you're dealing with communities and engagements and all kinds of things. But I was also very interested in almost every aspect of the Miami Beach Urban Studios and what it could be. So I kind of worked with my colleagues to come up with this idea of it being a collider for people and ideas in arts, design, technology, and the environment. And I didn't have to do much other than kind of talk about it a lot, because Dean Schreiner, who really was the person who kind of invented the place and made it into the physical form that it was, and would kind of find scholars like yourself and find public intellectuals and like Alistair Gordon and Bruce Carter, and like just find incredible Richard Florida was another one. So he would kind of introduce me to you guys and say, John, mentor these guys, take care of them, make sure they, and Robert Zuckerman was also part of that group. And Brian was kind of putting people into this mix, and it was my job. It was hardly a job, but to kind of, do everything from like make sure that certain paperwork was filled out, to kind of make occasional dinners and have them, to kind of resolve disputes between artists who wanted to fill the gallery with sand, and the Amernay who could not rehearse or perform if the gallery was filled with sand. So kind of figuring out how these things, so those negotiations that kind of tried to grease the wheels of these colliders, I think helped to create a community and help to kind of initiate new ideas that we're still reaping the benefits of. And I think that just the connections that like you made with your colleagues who are here at MBUS, the ways you know them now better than you would know people in most campuses, because you had a chance to talk to Michael Klotz, you had a chance to get to know Orlando, you had a chance to get to know Yatsik, and you may not have ever encountered them in the real world, but that FIU microcosm, that petri dish, was kind of fervent with ideas and energy. And we happen to have just really great people here. And when you add the Sea Level Solutions Center, the scientists, we had social scientists here, we had people who were looking at the back loop of the Anthropocene, and like it was kind of mind-blowing in the way it was I think an exciting moment. And I totally get that these things have to have half-lives, they have to have short half-lives, because nothing like this with this much energy and fervor can go on for forever. And so now what I'm excited about is how many of those projects and many of those people who are still working can kind of help us to focus our efforts on raising the reputation of the departments and the work that we're doing at FIU. And so, I mean, there are no MBUSs to rank MBUSs. Like, you can't say, oh, this is an MBUS, the top ranked MBUS, and this is the lower ranked MBUS. There's only one, but there are ranked architecture programs. So if you say, okay, the 3D printing lab, which is producing these incredible objects for people who are visually impaired, for musical instruments, for Bjork and others. I mean, just like amazing things. These could be then tied to the success of that program, and in other words, we have to, I think, we have to really let some of the energy out of the petri dish now drive some of the innovations in specific programs, and let those programs tell the story. This is one thing to be inside the studio, the urban studios at the time when all of you were here, but it's quite another thing for that to have an impact, a real world impact on our students, on our community, and moving forward.